Every few years, like clockwork, it begins. Banners go up, speeches get louder, newsrooms turn into war rooms, and suddenly, elections start to feel like the biggest show in town. Pollsters talk about vote shares and swing states. Panels analyze who's wooing which caste. Pundits ask whether one party will hold on or another will stage a comeback. But somewhere in all this excitement, we forget to ask the simplest, most important question. What are elections actually for? Because no matter how dramatic it looks on the surface, an election is not a sporting event. It's not a fight to the finish between two sides. And it's definitely not just a game of strategy where political parties test their skills in social engineering. At its core, an election is how we, the people, decide who we trust to make decisions on our behalf. Not to speak for our identity, but to govern. To handle real responsibilities, to fix roads, run schools, make budgets, uphold justice. That's it, that's the job, that's the point. When you vote, you're not picking a hero. You're hiring someone. You're saying, here, this is my vote of confidence. I'm trusting you with public money, public policy, and public power. And in return, I expect results. That's not sentiment. That's a civic contract. The trouble is, Badi, we've been trained to see elections as a performance. We cheer for parties like sports teams. We focus on slogans, not plans. We ask, who's winning? Instead of who's governing well. And political parties, smart as they are, respond to that. They turn elections into a mix of marketing, muscle, and manipulation. We see caste combinations stitched together like patchwork. We see religion used, not for reflection, but for division. We see candidates chosen, not for skill, but for vote math. And slowly, elections stop being about public service and start being about private gain. But that's not how a democracy is supposed to work. The real purpose of an election is not to serve political parties, it's to serve you, the voter, the citizen. It's a tool you use to shape how the country is run. Not once every 5 years, but every day that follows. Here's an example. Imagine a school where students get to choose the head teacher. Now imagine if they choose the one who throws the best party, or puts up the brightest posters, or says, I know your friends, vote for me. But once elected, that teacher doesn't run the school well. Classes fall apart, discipline breaks down. Wouldn't the students regret it? That's what elections feel like, when we forget why we vote. A ballot is not an applause button. It's not an expression of anger either. It's a decision, a serious, powerful decision about who gets to use your name, your time, your taxes, and make choices that will shape your life. So next time you hear someone ask, who's going to win? Ask a different question. Ask, who will govern? Who will make public systems work? Who will keep the water clean, the hospitals running, the police accountable? Because those are the questions that really matter. And those are the answers elections are meant to give. An election is not the end of the conversation, it's the beginning of accountability. You don't vote so a party can stay in power. You vote so that power stays in check. You vote not for drama, but for delivery. Not for pride, but for policy. Not for history, but for the future. That is the purpose of elections. Not a spectacle, not a battle, but a solemn choice about who will carry out the work of governance on behalf of all of us.